Kat Swanepoel and I'll be competing in para swimming at the Paris Paralympics. So Paris is not going to be my first Paralympics. I was really fortunate enough that I took part in the Tokyo Paralympics, so the 2020-2021 COVID Paralympics. So it's certainly really great, such a privilege going to your second Paralympics, but also it's still new, it's still something different, but at least having the experience of a previous Paralympics, knowing a little bit what to expect. So I'm very lucky. My personal coach is also the head essay coach, so wherever basically I go, he goes with, which is such an amazing thing. Is somebody who you see more than you see your family, and especially in Tokyo where there was no families were allowed, no friends, no spectators. You depend on your team, and I think that's also not just as a coach, but as a paraswimming team, we are family, and a lot of that team has stayed the same now going into Paris. So it's nice, we've all traveled together, we consider each other's brothers and sisters, so even though now we can have our families going over with us, we still a family together in swimming. So my classification, very complex system, and my classification actually has just been changed. Nice little moment before the games. So my classification currently is an S5, so that's the S is for my freestyle backstroke and butterfly strokes, an SB4, which is for my breaststroke, and an SM5, which is for my individual medley. Classification is quite a long process. You first have to be locally classified, and depending on the disability you have, depends on what classification tests you go through. There's medical testing, so you'll be tested whether it's on muscle strength or spasticity or loss of limb, height. Once you've been locally classified, you then need to go international, compete in an international competition where you're internationally classified, and only once you're internationally classified are you allowed to compete internationally. So it is quite a process. So my reclassification, it flipped my world. It really did, and it was completely unexpected. I was only due for reclassification in 2027. We went over to European Champs just for some racing practice, and I got told to report for reclassification immediately. And within half an hour, 2 people changed pretty much the outcomes of my games. Going into a stronger classification, it means that I'm now competing against people who have more physical function than I do. Many can walk, many can kick. None have upper limb function, loss of upper limb function. So for me, the biggest changes was all of my events changed. My only event which stayed the same was 50 meter backstroke, but also your qualifying times change. So where I had qualified for Paris as an S4, I now had to re-qualify in a very short period of time in the new, and each classification the times get quicker, and also all of my events changed. Plus, I'm an individual medley specialist swimmer. In my previous classification, butterfly is not one of the strokes we swim. So I did the 150 meter IM. Now, in a month, I had to learn how to swim butterfly and qualify in the 200 meter individual medley swimming butterfly. I think it's your mental game is it's the strongest muscle you have is your brain. I think we've seen with so many of our athletes. We see it with our rugby team, how they just push their bodies beyond actually what the average human can do. And it's something which I've realized more and more. It's something I need to work on, of almost, in a way, making yourself bomb-proof. Obviously with the reclassification, it just was what my preparation was, what our expectations were shattered. And it took its toll. I'm not, so I never want to tell someone it's easy just to keep picking yourself up and just keep on going on. But I think it's, the more you practice that resilience, the easier it comes. So I think it's been a lot of change. It's been a lot of change of expectations of, even if I quit my job, I started training professionally full-time now. We know what my expectations are, and not to be disappointed in that. to handle that aspect. For me, a big difficulty with mental sort of preparation is working full-time, training full-time. It's a shift between my professional role and then in my role as an athlete. So I mean, that's also something which is tricky. I think the thing which helps me the most, and what my coach always keeps telling me, is trust the process. There's a reason why we train 6 days a week, and he always tells me that before you race. He's like, why do you doubt yourself? You do this day in and day out in the swimming pool, so why is today any different? And I think that is just trust the process. You trust the work that you've put in, and you know, anything can happen on the day, and that's out of your control. But the work that you put in to get in there, that you can control.